Howdy all, I'm Adam the Renaissance Nerd. In the span of a week, I have gone from being excited for Netflix's Avatar The Last Airbender live action reboot to being very, very wary. The red flags continue to keep popping up. We are 20 days away from its release, and last week that trailer blew all our socks off. We were all excited. Hey, it looks like Avatar. Hey, the characters sound right. Everybody looks right, feels right, tastes right, smells right. And then the cast has to start opening their mouth. The showrunner has to start opening his mouth, and we are learning more and more that maybe, just maybe, it's all surface. And when you dig deeper, these characters are going to be not quite the same. Oh, but Adam, it's an adaptation. It doesn't have to be the same. Well, this is one of those instances where an adaptation kind of could have just been the same. You didn't really need to change it that much. It's not a difficult story. It's not a complicated story. We're not talking about overly complicated characters that can't translate from 2D to 3D, even though that's what the showrunner claims can't happen. Well, this week, we went from Sokka having his story being gutted for modernization. We've heard some Katara news that I'll get into in another video or stream this weekend. And now it's Aang's turn. Aang, our hero, our protagonist, it's time for him to get the treatment. What is happening? Well, very simply put, Netflix's Avatar The Last Airbender showrunner admits to changing Aang's character, says it was done in order to make his narrative drive a little clearer. Let's read it, shall we? In proving that Hollywood still considers any and all things anime related to be immature nonsense that is not to be taken seriously, Avatar The Last Airbender showrunner Albert Kim has confirmed that in service of making it feel more like a real television show, Netflix's live-action adaptation will be making a significant change to series protagonist Aang's core character. To reply to this statement by Spencer Bakuli, he's absolutely right. I myself have received already the comments, "It's a children's show. Why are you, an old man, making such a big deal out of this? I liked it fine the way it was, but this'll be just as good. Why are you crying? Here's the thing. If you're a passionate fan, you care about something. You put time, effort, money sometimes into just enjoying it in all aspects. You don't treat it like a religion, but you enjoy it because it touches something inside you. Last Airbender is a great story of heroism, accepting, I guess one could say, fate and destiny, but doing it on your terms, not giving into the pressures of society, learning to grow and adapt, and finding friends and family. That's Last Airbender in a nutshell. At its core, these characteristics are what make Avatar a great show, despite the fact that it's made for children. It's a cartoon, which, by the way, is the weakest defense that the fake fans, stans, and tourists always put up, in addition to basically insulting whoever's opinion they're attacking, because they never have an actual argument against the opinion. All they can say is, "Oh, why are you making a big deal out of a cartoon, man? You need to grow up. You're old." That kind of shit. They're lame. Let's keep going. Kim provided this confirmation of fans' worst fears while speaking to IGN's Alex Stedman in promotion of the series' upcoming premiere. Pressed by Stedman as to how much are you guys changing and how much is staying the same between Avatar's live action and the original animated versions, the showrunner explained, "I've used the term that this is a remix, not a cover, in that you've got to hit a lot of familiar notes, but you can't forget this is supposed to be a new song. So obviously there are story points and characters that you have to do fairly faithfully from the original. But at the same time, you're literally translating something from 2D to 3D, and that meant dimensionalizing the story, taking it to new places, filling in some of the gaps." On the surface, out of context from what we're going to read further down here, that's not necessarily a bad thing. You got to understand some things truly do not translate from animation to live action. But in this case, he's full of shit. Talking about dimensionalizing a story, filling in the gaps. Listen, the original didn't need to fill in gaps. Sometimes when you're seeing something, the aftermath, as in the attack on the Southern Air Temple, which he's going to mention here in a moment, it's fine. You don't need to see the attack. The devastation tells the story. Show, don't tell. Now, he's going to point out here in a second, they're going to show us the attack on the Southern Air Temple, the Agni Kai between Ozai and Zuko. Nothing wrong with that. I didn't have a problem with that a week ago. I still don't have a problem with that now. But here is where now, after these things, which are just maybe a little more contextual addition to the story, now we're talking about character. The showrunner then made a point to highlight to Stedman how the series replicated the bit when Aang's on the air scooter for the main titles and he crashes into the statue, as he believed it gets across a very important character point, which is that despite everything and all the burdens that he's facing, Aang is just a kid. He's a goofy 12-year-old kid and he's having fun and he's a big old goofball. And we wanted to make sure that we showed that because that's as important to the story as all the action and epic fantasy of it all. Great. Stop right there. If that's all you ever did, if that's all you had the notion to do for Aang, then you nailed Aang. You got the happy-go-lucky side, which is hiding the burden that he carries and why he puts on the happy-go-lucky side. But no. This is Netflix. These are people who don't actually care about the source material. They care about putting their own stamp on it, their own version on it. Let's keep going, because now here's where it all falls apart. Right to it. Asked by Stedman if despite all the remixing is the point A and the point B still the same as the original, the showrunner explained while the state of the world and the stakes of the world are still the same, the series production team had decided to make Aang's narrative drive a little clearer. What does that mean? In the first season of the animated series, he's kind of going from place to place, looking for adventures. He even says, first we've got to go ride the elephant koi. It's a little looser as befits a cartoon. We needed to make sure he had that drive from the start. And so that's a change that we made. We essentially give him this vision of what's going to happen. And he says, I have to get to the Northern Water Tribe to stop this from happening. That gives him much more narrative compulsion going forward as opposed to, let's make a detour and go ride the elephant koi, that type of thing. So that's something, again, that's part of the process of going from a Nickelodeon cartoon to a Netflix serialized drama. We're going to stop here because now it's just Spencer Wakuli's going to make the points that I was going to make anyway, so I'll give you my words instead of his. This shows you they don't understand Aang and the core of his drive. The whole point of Aang wanting to do some kid stuff, to take detours from getting to the Northern Water Tribe, is because he's carrying the burden of being the Avatar. The fact that he ran away, that he hid, and that everything that is happening now from his perspective is his fault because he wasn't there to stop the Fire Nation from invading and taking control. Because that was the Avatar's job, to maintain the balance between the nations and the tribes. Do you understand? By saying, let's get rid of his childish detour that is only working in a cartoon, you're gutting Aang's character. I don't care if we saw him laugh in the trailer now. By removing the stuff that makes him fun, the stuff that makes him a kid, the stuff that he wanted to do that he couldn't do because he was the Avatar, because he had to train, because he had to focus on his destiny. You're gutting his character development, just like you're gutting Sokka's character development. And just like we're hearing now, they're going to be possibly gutting Katara's character development. This is a red flag. Now, the show may end up being, but it's obviously not going to have the magic that the series has. And once again, it doesn't matter if it was a cartoon. I watched it 20 years ago when I wasn't the old man that I am now, and I liked it then. I've watched it 3 times in total since then, and I still like it because it holds up as a solid story that appeals to all ages despite being a cartoon. So for those of you who want to say you're freaking out because they're changing a cartoon, grow up, man. And then also well, let's just wait and see what happens. You all right? You're making a big deal out of nothing. They haven't earned the right for me not to make a big deal out of nothing. This is Netflix. They're batting 1 for 10, and the one being One Piece, But that only worked because Oda Sensei was there to keep the core aspects of each character in line, even though there were story changes. One Piece worked because the characters were still all the same. This may not work, even though the story elements are going to look the same, the characters may be different. And if the characters are different in a character-driven story, then it's not going to be the story everybody expects or wants or have enjoyed for 20 years. Avatar: The Last Airbender is timeless because it works on all levels for all audiences. This, I'll be surprised now if they get to Season 2, Book of Earth. Because I don't see Aang here already. I don't hear about Sokka being Sokka. And now we have to worry about Katara too. I'm done. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, a like would be very much appreciated. If you are new here, I invite you to subscribe to me right here on YouTube. Hope to earn your trust and support using facts and logic, because facts and logic do not care about whiny stand, fake fan, and SW fifis. Hit the notification button for my videos you like it and preaching by all means. Leave a comment. Want to hear from the true passionate fan out there. I care what you think. I do not care what the fake fans, stan, SJW tourists have to say, because 201, you're all cowards behind keyboards, and everything you say is just proof that my facts and logic and opinions trigger your piddly asses. Thank you again for watching. Take it easy. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you'd like to reach out to me, please email me at theranernerd@gmail.com for all channel business purposes. I am on Twitter now, mostly for promotion and sharing of videos, maybe a little shit stirring here and there, who knows, @theranernerd. You can also find me at the Geeks and Gamers forums under @ROAS, and you can see me on Rumble and Odyssey under the Renaissance Nerd. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.